This is the meeting of the Wolfeboro Budget Committee. It's Thursday, December 1st. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Department of Public Works Administration, highways and streets, public works garage, building and grounds, solid waste disposal, and capital outlay, and probably a few other things also. Steve, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I sure can. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The town manager have anything for us before we start?
I just wanted to let this committee know that on December 14th, from 6:30 until 8:30, there is an open house at the Pop Whalen Ice Arena.
On the 14th?
The 14th. For people to come in, see the project. Right now, we are still on schedule to make ice and have the arena open for January 3rd. The locker room administration wing will not be prepared, but the remainder of the facility will be ready to go. So I just wanted to make that announcement. If you want to see where this $7 million has gone, it's a good opportunity to be there and take a look at the project and be able to ask questions of town staff, of the construction management firm, and the other people involved in the project. So you're welcome to attend.
Clock time again, please.
6:30 p.m. through 8:30 p.m.
Thank you.
So we'll have to wrap up the budget meeting that's also on
That's
that
great.
same night.
I love it. Excuse the shorten the process. What? Oh, well.
And that's it, Mr.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman.
We've got someone here from 68 Hours of Hunger this evening. Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
So it's under the agency tab, on page 205 is the backup for end 68 hours of hunger. Introduce yourself.
I'd like to begin by thanking you for allowing us to present tonight. Last night we had a conflict and were unable to join you, so thank you. I'm Jan Brooks. I'm one of 3 of the program coordinators for our chapter of End 68 Hours of Hunger. I'm sure that you've had the application that we presented to you at the end of the summer, and so I would like to just give you a brief summary and overview of what you've had in hand. Families of preschool through grade 6 children living within the Governor Wentworth Regional School District who are at risk of food insecurity look to and depend upon a child's bag of food each weekend due to inflation and related costs. Our organization runs 50 weeks a year for preschool through grade 6 children from the towns of Wolfeboro, Tuftonboro, Ospey, Effingham, and Middleton. In 2021, our average number of students was 111. 2022, it's 143. Our organization does not delineate where a child lives. Rather, we have the goal to ensure that all children at risk of food insecurity receive food for the weekends. Therefore, our figures represent all children who receive food each weekend, not by the school. Having made some adjustments during COVID to the approach that we use for packing and delivering food during the pandemic, we provided food throughout the time period with the help of the Governor Wentworth Regional School District Transportation Department. Over the cost of food for a weekend bag of food for one child, first of all, 21-22 was $14 a child. We had 111 children for 50 weeks. The total cost was $77,700. 22-23, we've had to increase our cost to $16 a bag. We have 143 children for 50 weeks. The total cost will be $114,400. We provide food bags for preschool through grade 6 children attending Carpenter and Crescent Lake in Wolfeboro. Last year, we had 8 students in Carpenter. Currently, we have 11. Last year, we had 4 students in Crescent Lake. We now have 7. The cost of feeding children within the Wolfeboro community was approximately $8,400 last year. And with the increase of the cost of the bags to $16 per bag, and the increase of students from 12 to 18, the cost will increase to about $14,400. We are requesting level funding from the Wolfeboro Budget Committee. Our organization relies on fundraising and private donations to raise money that is used solely to purchase food for children. We do not have any overhead, as we are run totally by volunteers. We have 45 to 60 volunteers. Retirees and staff and students from the Governor Wentworth School District and from Brewster Academy. Our local communities are very supportive financially as well as publicly. When we hold an appeals drive, run a fundraiser, and are sponsored by businesses, our communities participate and or provide us financial support. As a result of the support of the communities last year, we have been able to include children being homeschooled and students from the Governor Wentworth Regional School District who are working towards their high school equivalency degree through Carroll County Academy. It is easily said that our organization is a community effort, and without the support from fundraising, private donations, town allocations, and the support from the commissioners, we would not be able to provide food to children at risk of food insecurity. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Any questions?
I have a
For Jan?
question.
Yes, sir.
Jan, does the food that you provide, is that for like weekends?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
So
the
it's
six-
not something different than, because the federal government has their own programs.
Exactly.
And so this is totally different than, so it's not overlapping or
No,
anything?
no.
Okay.
It's the 68 hours from when the last time a child, or when the last meal that the child has in school, which would be lunch, till the first one they have Monday morning. Lunch on Friday till Monday morning. And so there's 68 hours that we want to make sure they have food. And it is preschool through grade 6. The food that we provide, we have 4 different menus per month. And the food we provide is all food that children can prepare themselves or put in the microwave, because you never know what the situation is at home.
Yeah, is that per child or is it per family?
It's all geared for the child. So the bags are delivered to the schools and the children take them home, or it's for the child.
Okay,
So if a family has 3 children, it's
Okay.
3 bags.
Any other questions? No. Thank you, Jan, for coming in.
Thank you all again.
Good night.
Thank you too.
Okay, who do we have from the Department of Public Works for administration?
So we have Steve Randall, our new Director of Department of Public Works, who's coming up here now. Steve has extensive background in construction, and he's hit the ground running, and he's hyper-focused on road maintenance and repairs. Couple of items that you will see here as we go through this budget. Number one, as you're aware, Dave Ford has left the town. He's retired, as has Scott Pike. At this time, what the intention is moving forward is we're not going to replace the level of Scott Pike. So we're going to be reducing that higher level employee. Steve will be overseeing the highway, the garage, the buildings and grounds, and the solid waste. The new town engineer that we bring on, at the direction and working in collaboration with the Board of Selectmen, We are transitioning the Department of Public Work Administration to a town engineer position. We were prepared to issue that job posting, and the Board of Selectmen had a conversation and provided me some guidance and recommended we look at this as a town engineer / assistant town manager.
Oh, good.
Thought process is to create a succession plan for my retirement, whenever that may be, and or when I leave on vacation or I'm not around, so that there's somebody who is clearly defined as being the acting town manager. With that said, right now, that job description is basically done, we just have to get it posted. We know that, it's going to be probably first week in February before we can get somebody on board for that position. So this budget of the DPW administration now reflects town engineer, and you'll see there's really minimal change on this, other than the salary has gone down from what it was previously.
Go ahead, John.
John, I have a question, I'm confused here. It doesn't take much to confuse me nowadays. So in Public Works, you're going to have a engineer, qualified licensed engineer.
But that will be the town engineer and separate from Public Works.
He'll be in your office?
He will be in Dave Ford's office. He is working out of the highway garage.
Down Pine Street.
You're going to be head of Public Works. The engineer is going to be,
In charge of water, sewer, and engineering.
I have a question for you on that.
oh my God.
Can we have, nothing is harder for me to grasp sometimes when you break the salaries down by those different departments. Can we please just have that position as one salary reflected
You have
that way? I'm just saying, going forward, like what I'd rather not have is like for each department that you just mentioned, that person's salary broken down within that thing, is what I'm getting at. Can we just have him as an engineer? So it is gonna be that way?
It is that way, if you
Okay.
look at
Okay.
page 5.
Okay.
That's the way it is in all the budgets.
We put the total there, then we break it down, this one happens to be 60%.
So where does this line show here? As
So
a
it's not gonna be broken
supervisory
down by- Okay.
in town, buildings and public works?
His or the town engineer?
What?
His or the town engineer?
I'm talking about town engineer.
Town
Where is he going to show in the wiring diagram?
Gotcha.
He's going to be,
His pay is right there,
yes,
okay?
and that's in what, the Public Works Department?
No, that is in the
Your department,
No.
not town manager.
Department of Public Works Administration, which has been changed to town engineer.
Okay, then the Public Works Department director, where is he located? In the wiring diagram?
He is in the department, he's divided amongst those 4 departments: highway, garage, solid waste, buildings and grounds.
Okay, then what do we have for water and sewer yeah, water and sewer?
So you will have the town engineer,
Do it
As the-
supervising,
and then you have the superintendent of water and sewer,
okay,
and then you have the leads and the
yeah,
staff.
okay.
All right, just one further question. I noticed that you've got a 60% number off this total of 120,029, the 60%, that comes down to 72,017. Where's the other 40%? Is that water and sewer? Okay, thank you.
Correct,
Kind of thought that's where you're going.
correct.
Okay, gotcha.
So to my question then, so 40% is gonna be in
General
water and
fund.
sewer?
That's right. That's the total
Gotcha,
in this department.
okay.
There's only 72,000. The balance of putting that is over in water and sewer, which we'll get to.
Gotcha.
All right?
Okay, okay.
So out of the $186,464, water and sewer is gonna pick up $111,879.
In reverse, 111,879 is what is in this department. The balance is in water and sewer. So the first line of 186,000 is the total cost of this position. 60% of it is the 111,000, and that is what is in this department called Town Engineer, formerly DPW Ag.
Yeah, okay.
So water and sewer is only gonna pick up about 75,000
You've got everything in
of the
Oh,
salary.
I know, I know, I
The
know.
whole thing, total wages and
Yeah, I
benefits.
know.
I just look at this. That's the, we got control
Okay.
over the rest of the stuff.
We don't, I know, I know.
Nothing we can.
So I am sorry if I've confused you completely,
You haven't,
You have
we're
it?
good.
Oh, we're good.
okay? We actually, with the not filling of the Scott Pike position, the reduction of Dave Ford's salary, the increase to Steve's salary compared to what Mr. Tasker was, we're actually reducing, salaries from a gross perspective.
And you feel that this is gonna be a better fit for the town with yourself and this new engineer position, so that someone like in Dave Ford's position won't be so fractured, basically?
So you have 27, 23. How many people do you have under you?
22.
22 people under him. Those people never
Full-time.
received any attention whatsoever from the department head, because the department head was too busy doing other things. You go around, he's working with these people, who will not, these guys, and I know this has been a problem with this group, these guys will not be doing full-blown road construction jobs going forward.
All right,
They may do, come in, lay some gravel, grade the roads, that's road maintenance. They're not gonna be rebuilding Bryant Road, they're not gonna be rebuilding those roads like we have in the past.
Good.
We're gonna focus on maintenance, that is his specialty. And that's what he's got his guys geared to. They're out there repairing sidewalks, they're out there, repairing catch basins, they're repairing curbs.
That takes care of that.
That's what these guys are supposed to be doing. Next year, you will be seeing them doing a significant amount of ditching work. We've got we're behind years in ditching. He's literally drinking from a fire hose, but he's getting this teed up for next year.
One of the things that has bothered me over the years is that when we had a warrant article to do major reconstruction of roads, a lot of the work was done by in-house forces, and it wasn't charged to the job, and so we were in actuality doing more on that project than was authorized. So that's a good step ahead. Now, please bear with me,
Yep.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, we'll have a town engineer.
Correct.
That'll be you?
No.
Okay, you will be
She worked.
Director of Public Works.
Yes.
The
This,
general funded items in that area. Then we'll have somebody else, head of water and sewer, who's that?
Have not hired them yet.
Okay. I think there's a good step ahead. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that.
John?
You go ahead, Bob.
Jim, it's an easy assumption, but I guess the person you hire, the town engineer, is going to take over or continue the monitoring of the rapid infiltration basin project.
So that project is done, and we basically, that's being done by contracted services.
Okay.
So that would fall under this person as the town engineer, that contracted service.
And
You are correct.
the wastewater treatment plant, we're gonna also continue with contract services, outside
Correct.
engineer running the
Correct.
wastewater treatment plant, okay.
You know, I can tell you, over the past 2 months, since Mr. Ford has left, the volume of engineering stuff that I've had to deal with has been crazy. And there's been a lot of positives coming out of it, but it's also, personally, it's been an excessive drain, and it's simply been too much. So we are hopeful to attract a quality person, and potentially that person is somebody that we can create a succession plan with, so that when it's time for me to go away, somebody can step in fairly seamlessly, so.
What I'm concerned about is, I'm wondering how long it's gonna take for everybody to be comfortable with these basins working for the long term. They're only been online maybe a year or so, and also a few years down the road, we have an item on the CIP for, I believe, about a $10 million renovation to the wastewater treatment plant. So between that and the basins, we're looking at a lot in the next 5 or 6 years. So that concerns me. And you know, I thought I saw in the CIP that a possible extension of the sewer district to about 25 homes, and I find that very concerning, because I feel that we might be reaching our max with the basin. So, but that's a discussion, I guess, for when the warrant articles.
So, a little bit of background information I can give you on that, only because Mr. Ford's gone and I've been filling in that role. The planning board, in conjunction with the Board of Selectmen, wanted to have a capacity study performed. HDR is the engineering firm. They are getting close to completion of that capacity analysis for the wastewater treatment plant RIB systems. So that's moving in the correct direction. There is a warrant article which does contemplate extension of sewer system into an area where we'd have to have a low pressure system. That's a very fluid item at this time. Spoke with the engineer developing it today. We've got a lot more work to do. I think we've got some hurdles that we're gonna get through if we're gonna make that happen. We did have an item on this year's CIP for a replacement of sewer line from Pickering Corner to Smith River Bridge. That estimate came in at $3 million. We are not tackling that project. We're only gonna go forward with the water on that at this point. And lastly, to tie up everything that you hit, the wastewater treatment facility, yes, there is a CIP item out there for $10 million for the wastewater treatment facility. However, in my conversations with HDR, they're doing the basis of design, which should be done for the spring of 2023, based on some adjustments that are being made to the facility. In today's dollars, that project is looking like about $6 million rather than 10.
Right, so just to finish up, my concern is, it's obvious to me the sewer district is not built out yet. And that's one of my concerns. We have, the deliberative session of 2021, Dave Ford said the number was 340,000 gallons. That would be, I don't know if that is still the number, but that's the number, or the permit, the number that the state was giving us, the amount of gallons that could be sent, that the ribs could handle in one day. So 124 million gallons per year. Now, as I said, I'm concerned, Brewster Academy has not built their second dormitory yet. 22 students, 2 faculty families. We're looking at another 30 people. Taylor Hill Community is not done yet. They're expanding. They finished their wellness center. They're building more. I think residences out back. I've heard for a number of years a great deal of conversation about Harriman Hill expanding. That's on sewer. So, and I know there are still plots in the sewer district that can be built on. There's 2 of them behind me on Fawn Haven. So this is where I'm concerned. Dave, I think he told us in 2019, I think I think about 110 million gallons was sent to the effluent pond. I don't know if that was sent up there or retained in the effluent pond, went to the spray fields. I'm not sure how that worked out, but 110 million gallons went up there or was sent out from the wastewater treatment plant. We're maxed out now at 124 million gallons. That's a $14 million cushion. That's not a lot, especially when your sewer district is not built out. That's why I'm very concerned, because if we blow this thing out, Dave kept telling us the alternate solution is to go down into Alden, around Alden Bay, and up to Elacoya Park. And 6 years ago, when we talked about this, we were looking at about 85 million bucks. That's probably well over $100 million now. And I don't see any money forthcoming from Washington D.C. Around the time where we might have to do that. So that's why we really have to be very concerned about using the sewer system and expanding our district. I'm sure Clark Road we had 3 homes, the line was extended to 3 homes at Clark Point. There's probably another dozen homes, not small houses, that can be hooked up to that line now because the line was extended. So I really think we have to be careful about this.
And the other thing that we've got to be very cognizant of as well, because you're going down that road, I'll bring it up. The I&I problem is severe. So I would encourage you to watch the December 7th Board of Selectmen's meeting. There will be a, I can't think of the name of the firm, they'll be there to discuss rates. And they've factored all of these issues in, and they will have a very nice presentation that evening.
Good.
Underwood, thank you.
When I started on this committee, the water loss was about 50%. And then for every gallon that hit the meters, 2 gallons was going back to the wastewater treatment plant. This system was leaking on both sides of the meters, big time. And I think we might be down to about 30% on the water side. Not sure, I think they've tightened up the sewer side also, but.
It's been tightened up, but because we have, this is gonna sound terrible, but other projects have taken priority over the past few years, and as a result, we have not been staying on top of it very well, and,
Yeah, I see that.
it's a
I
problem.
Yep.
So I hear you loud and clear. We've been working with HDR regularly on this, and they're moving forward. And we're hopeful that they will have this analysis done in pretty short order. They just needed one more element from me, from the planning department, which they got, and they'll put together the final product and hopefully deliver a presentation to the planning board and the board of selectmen.
I appreciate the opportunity to discuss this.
I hope we answered your questions.
Yeah, just to tag on to that, Jim, would this report from HDR take into account the INI issues that's still out there, do you think?
Brian, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It probably does. I'm quite sure that the presentation that Underwood is gonna be giving on the 7th talks about the INI issue and the water loss. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but it's been very interesting to watch these 3 firms, engineering firms, work together to hopefully give us a product that we have on the shelf that we can use as a reference material to say, okay, how do we get the best bang for our buck going forward? And it's scary.
That's it for me, John.
Okay. 100 series. 200 series.
Yeah, I got a question on 100 series. I'm just looking at the bottom line for highways for this department. We're 184,000, 12% increase. You got a 10% increase in the 100 series, which is 56,000. Haven't done the math on the other stuff. We have no control over salaries and who you hire, who you fire, and so on and so forth. But it puts us at a disadvantage when we're trying to review the budget and order right out of the gate where,
Steve, are you on the right section?
Are you on page 1? We're doing town engineer, page 1.
sorry, I'm on page 6. I beg your pardon.
Okay.
Beg your pardon. Sorry.
Okay, 300 series, 400, 500, 600. And this budget is minus 7.04%. Okay,
Page 6 is highways and streets.
okay.
So Steve, hopefully this chart behind me will give you a little bit of an explanation as far as the director is concerned. 50% of his salary is allocated to streets and highway. Under him, he's got the foreman, he's got 2 lead people, and his staff. And this is just exclusively highway.
Okay, thank you. 100 series,
You're talking about highways now?
Highway and streets,
page
yes.
6. Yeah,
Yeah, you're on my page, right? On page 6, okay.
what happened to the meals last year, or this year? Spent a lot of money.
So they have a meal allowance when they are called back in on storms. So, and it basically reflects the same thing that the electric department gets. That's kinda,
Must have had a lot of storms going on then, a call out or something.
It's like the timing of when it happens is unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, 200 series.
Well, I'd like to go back to the 100 series. I don't understand the supervisors. This is a new position? And highways and streets,
correct.
new position. A new
It's-
person,
It's his position,
that's his position.
that's 50% of his salary.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Go to
200
page
series,
13.
300 series. $400 series,
Yeah, line
Okay.
432, please.
okay.
Communications maintenance, what is this radio tuning for $3,000?
Okay, we're running into
For all truck meetings.
It's the, that's the in-truck radio.
Communications.
It's the in-truck radios,
Radio tuning for all the truck radios, you
Right,
have
so-
$3,000, what is that?
so that's the maintenance and the
95.
upkeep. So there's, highway has 20, there's 20 radios. Solid waste has 2. Public Works Garage has 2, Buildings and Grounds has 1. That's the maintenance on the radios.
Oh, it's the maintenance.
It's the maintenance and the upkeep and the fee for the repeater towers and all
Well,
that.
the only reason I ask this question is because that's a relatively new item, and the historical numbers have been, like $1,000 a year for the last 5 years, and all of a sudden we're now 4,100, so that's what caused it to jump out at me. Have we not been doing this radio work, or has it been somewhere else?
Can't answer that question for you.
I'd like a revisit on that, please.
What
Some definition.
what I can answer for you is, we've replaced quite a few trucks over the past couple of years.
Right.
And when those trucks are getting replaced, the radios that are in them are pretty much obsolete, so it's part of the upfitting of the truck. But we can get, a better breakdown for you on that.
Yeah, I kind of would like that, because it's a big jump in that one line, and it's that one item that's causing it to go to 4,100 over what the 5-year average is.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Bob, did you ask for a revisit on this?
Yes, I
You
did.
did, okay, you got that, Leanne?
Mhm.
Thank you.
500 series.
I'm still not done with the 400.
Okay.
490. Drainage pipes, up 92.8%. Little definition on that one, please.
No, are we?
The actual costs have more than doubled on everything. Any concrete products, PVC pipe, it just,
No.
it reflects the
No, he's still on 400.
market value of market price.
Thank you.
Steve, from my point of view, as an uneducated
Yep.
public works guy, are these maintenance pipes?
Yes, so that is,
So my only concern about this one is that maybe we're buying some stuff that may end up being used in a warrant article someplace. That's,
understood.
and I just wanna be sure we're not
Yep.
spending money in the budget to support a warrant article somewhere down the road. If these are just maintenance.
These are strictly maintenance. It's not, the quantity, I believe, was based off of what was done in the past, when the numbers were put together. It's
Yeah.
just, so say the same 4 pipes cost $12,000 last year, they cost $23,000 this year.
Oh, all right, so it's the
Yes.
the price of products.
Yes, everything, every product prices
Okay,
of anything construction related is gonna
fine,
include
that answers my question, thank you.
Got a question for you. Do you see, starting to see reductions anywhere? Because I've seen reductions in different things. You don't see it?
Not in any of the stuff that we deal with.
Because I'm wondering if we're gonna have the higher percentage based on what's happening in the past 6 months, and then 6 months down the road, it possibly could be different.
So in construction field wise, it never goes down. So they have this tendency to build everything up. Once in a while, we might get a drop in something, but as of right now, everything is still the same. Even the pipe order that we placed, that we went through a couple weeks ago, it's still right there and keep going up. And they're telling me maybe 7%.
Yeah.
Same thing on gravel, stone and gravel prices, first of the year, 7%, right off the top, going right up.
Okay.
So our 5-year average is gonna get skewed somewhat by this price increase, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Right, now,
Yeah.
to your point, at somewhere, that needs to, you would think, just like groceries, just like everything, that should either balance off or, but right now, there's no sign of it, fortunately.
Okay, 500 series, 600 series.
Yes, line 633 and 634. Maintenance supplies, pavement and roads on 634. The interesting thing here is that I looked at the 5-year average and it's 0.
So, I believe it was 2 years ago, 630, 30, 33, and 34 was one account. It got broken last year into 3 accounts. So 630 is winter maintenance, so sand, salt, chloride. 33, hot top patching related items. And then 34 is for gravel, for shoulder gravels or,
Right, no, I understand that, but 633 and 634 are two new lines, is that what I'm hearing?
yes,
Where'd it come from?
came from 630,
Okay, so all that was in 630,
correct.
gotcha.
And
Thank
it got broken out to be able to,
Okay, so if I went and looked at the 5-year average for 630, then that could make some sense out
Yes.
of what
It's gonna
that's
make more
where I got
sense.
really
Yep.
screwed up when I started looking
Yep.
at the 5-year averages. Thank you.
I got a question on 630, pertains to salt. I went to a seminar this summer, and one of the departments was the Department of Environmental Department for the state of New Hampshire, and they're trying to see about mitigation to lakes and so on and so forth, and they were looking specifically at salt. And at the end of the seminar, the question came up, what is the state of New Hampshire doing as far as like, because they've been talking about brine and different things and so on and so forth. Because salt is a #1 contributor to deficits in the lake, as far as like not good stuff happens around lakes. And I wonder if maybe not now, but somewhere in the future, your highway department will look at, because as I understood it from the seminar, some private contractors are actually using brine and other solutions as opposed to salt in a very effective way. And I just wondered if you think you might look at that, because that was a question to the, do you think the highway department, the state highway department will look at that? And so far, they're not looking at it.
so actually we do have brine tanks out back.
Okay,
And we do utilize that on occasion from what I got. No, granted, I haven't been here for winter. So
No.
I'm going off of what I can find and what my guys say. So we do have brine tanks. We have some on order for the first of the year to come in. So that is something. And our overall salt usage is something that I'm looking at, and I track every storm so that I can get an average, so I can see what we're using
right,
and then adjust accordingly.
right. Because the other day we had salt, a little bit of snow, and the next day you could still see salt
On the road.
on the road.
So the state, especially through here,
Oh, yeah. no,
uses a ton. And the, I don't know how I say this, the previous heads
Yep.
were big on salt usage.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it was salt a lot. I'm less inclined for salt. I find sand salt mix actually works a little better once it hits the road. Dark color, especially in the daylight, it'll create a brine on its own and attracts more heat, and it's a lot less money.
Glad you're looking at that. It's interesting, one of the comments made at the seminar was people's expectation.
Right.
You know, and what, I don't give a rip if it's a snowstorm or not, I wanna go, you know, and it's that kind of thing. We ought to communicate, no, stay home.
Unfortunately, that's never gonna work. You know, I've plowed for years. I plowed for DOT since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So I've seen it for years, and people just want to go out and ride around at 2 a.m. in a snowstorm for some reason I don't understand.
Thanks.
John.
Yes, sir.
So Steve, I noticed that driving around, it seems that Alton incorporates a lot more sand on their side roads than we do.
Yep.
Quite a bit, it's quite obvious. Steve, I don't know if you noticed that, but also, I don't know if you get that, Wolfeboro Waters has a newsletter they put out, they send out by email if you request they do that. And I believe in their last one, they addressed that very topic. And they were talking about the bad effect that salt has on the lakes, so.
Oh, huge.
So it'd be nice if we could find a different direction that would be less offensive to the lakes.
When you fix the roads, put down heat tape.
Okay,
Yeah,
700
throughout
series,
the whole town.
800 series,
Make sure it's sold.
that's it on the, let's move on.
Page 15 is Public Works Garage.
100 series,
I have a question on this. Is this a new position, the supervisor?
This is 10% of this, gentleman.
That's part of me.
You're this half, is that
My
right?
salary is split over every budget that we'll look at.
Okay, thank you.
from here on.
Yes, 50% in the first one, 10% in this one, 5% in the next one, and 35 in the next one.
Okay,
Equals
Thank you.
100% of him.
got it.
Okay, 200 series. $300,
I'm sorry, John.
go ahead.
Pardon. Line 140 overtime.
Yep.
5-year average has been 16K, we're now looking at 23.
I had a question on 332.
We're not there yet.
Not there yet. Okay, thank you. You don't want to miss it.
So I believe that number came from the actuals of 22, so right now they're almost at 20 grand. So with raises and gets it 23.
Okay.
You are correct, the 5-year average is 16, but 21 was 23,000, so that was
Yep.
what they thought was the better budgeted number.
And will probably be 22 or something by the end of this year, I think.
Okay,
Both
John,
of those
you had
guys.
a question
plow.
on,
So your actuals are probably gonna be
200,
close to that
Right.
number that you quoted.
232.
Both mechanics plow snow. So that's where a lot of their overtime comes from.
Gotcha. Thank you.
okay, John, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on line 332.
Yep.
I see that it's going up,
Yes. So,
darn near over double.
yep, if you look at line 610, and you'll see that that one went down.
610?
610. Those two were flipped. The accounts that, how they, so one of those is Ben's actual operating cost, the other one is a revolving account through all of the town, fire, police, so the number rotates, and that number got, those two accounts
So
got
what's the
switched.
net effect of those
Zero.
two?
Nothing,
Wash, okay, thank you.
or close enough without doing math.
Okay, 400 series.
410.
Okay, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Okay, what's the 5-year average on electricity? The 410 series?
3192,
How much?
3,192.
2009? Is the 5-year average.
The 5-year average on electricity in this department, yes.
And what was that again?
3192.
51.
3.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 400 series. 600? Uh, 700?
So, John,
Yes, sir.
just one question. On 635 gasoline, I noticed you got a number in there, 328 a gallon. Is that a contracted number, or is that from last year, or how are we doing? Because my understanding was we were kind of
Yeah,
going like this with gas and diesel.
yeah, in the beginning, I made a speech, so I put everyone at $3.28, which was what we were actually paying on November 1st. We hope to look at it again before we finalize this budget, but nobody would bid on our gasoline, so it's
Yeah,
actual price.
Yeah, I heard that, and I heard it was the actual price, so,
Yeah.
so this
Yeah.
thing is kind of floating.
It is floating. I made a change from when the town manager gave it to the selectmen to, and now to you, and we'll maybe make one more change if it fluctuates more than a lot. I mean, if it fluctuates a lot.
Do we think it's gonna go up? Or we don't know?
Don't know.
Okay.
The one thing that we really learned over this past year, in going back and doing some analysis,
Go back.
we've never had a locked-in price for gasoline. It's always been a month to month to month to month to month thing.
I didn't realize that. I thought,
Neither did I until I think I knew it, but it didn't register until we went back and did some analysis, and it was like, whoa, this thing is a moving target. So diesel we get locked in,
right,
oil we get locked in, propane we get locked in.
Yeah.
gasoline,
But not
it's
gas.
by the month.
Okay, thank you.
The other
Yeah,
thing
John.
too is, sorry, the
No,
town,
I'm sorry.
the town manager, gave directive to, the department heads to manage their gallons, and we'll watch the price.
Okay.
So I was gonna say, I think it'd be probably wiser to go a little higher than what you think, even though it might not be good for the budget. But, you know, it's not like you're throwing the money away, it'll wind up in the surplus. If you go too low, obviously, and the price goes higher than we have in the lines, then you start scrambling for money from other lines in the budget. It gets, to me, that's crazy. So,
Again, but in one of your wrap-up nights, hopefully we'll look at it at
Yeah.
that point and say, what is it, and decide whether that's a
I
good
forget
number
what
or
it
not.
is now. Heating oil is down to, heating oil came down about 80 or 90 cents a gallon in the last week and a half, so it's really very volatile right now.
Do you know what that rate was?
Heating oil, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago was like $5.79, and it's about $4.79 right now.
We're locked in at 4.70 on heating oil.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, so. John has something.
You have a question, John?
No,
No? Okay.
A billion, okay.
thank you.
Okay, 700 series. 800 series. That's it on Public Works Garage.
Now going to page 21, buildings and grounds.
Okay, 100 series.
I see a good direction in the supervisory salaries.
So this was a big portion of the, I forget his title. Adams.
Director of
Operation
operations.
manager left, had a big portion of his salary here, and now this is only 5% of Steve.
Yep. I thought that was over for the price.
Okay, 200 series. $300 series.
Yes, please, line 311. 5-year average is 66.47, and we're looking at 10,000 as a request. I'd like a little explanation, please.
Which number did you say?
311.
Line 311.
Oh, 311.
5-year average is 66.47.
So this was, this is an open PO for, Mass Landing dock repair. That's why it's jumped up. Nothing is done with it. We actually spoke today. We're gonna close that out. That was a project that David started earlier in the year. So that's why the consultant fee jumped right through the roof. It's not actually accurate. It's open but not spent.
So is this increase over the 5-year average a
Yes.
one-time shot? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm sorry?
Is this increase over the 5-year average
Yes, it's a
a
one-time.
one-time
It was a
deal?
one-time deal, right. And whatever it takes to close that out tomorrow, it'll be back down to what it is.
Okay, thank you.
But also the 5-year average is a little skewed because it looks like there was no actuals in 18 and 19. So it was 9,300, 0, 0, 9,000, almost 15,000. So it's skewing the 5-year average.
Yeah, and that brings up an issue that I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on, because I know everybody wants to go watch the Patriots.
Oh, Dolly Parton for me, but.
So I'll keep it short, but I think we really have to think about capital outlays for some of these hitters that skew these 5-year averages or don't appear and goes up and down like this. We need to really handle this stuff in a better fashion, because that leads me to another item, which I'll get to later when you get there. But we need to think about that, so we don't have these wild swings.
Okay, 400 series.
Excuse me, line 380,
Okay,
outside services. Again, the average has been, is this all outsourced?
Yes. We have a 50/50 guy and then one part-time guy for buildings and grounds. So they do the general things, but 95% of that is all subbed out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 400. 500. 600. 700. And that's it.
Page 27, solid waste disposal.
Okay, 100 series. $200 series.
I got a question on 133, phone stipend. It seems a pretty big jump. Just wondering why it needs to be that much.
The amount hasn't changed, so, I believe that there's more people in this,
Yep.
in this department. So the stipend hasn't changed, there's just more people in this department.
So going forward, this 486 will be more the norm than the 240 or the 180.
That is correct. And this gentleman being a piece of that.
Thanks.
Okay, 200 series. 300.
I had a question on telephones.
Okay.
Schedule for 2022 was 13.5, expended 23,000. If you've already expended 23,053, why are we down at 13.5 for the future years for 2023?
I believe you're looking at line 311 consultants, John, is that correct?
341.
341 is telephone and those
That's
aren't the
right.
correct numbers.
Okay, yes, 311.
311 consultants. So your question is, you've spent 23,000 already this year and you're going back down to 13.5.
I couldn't find it in the backup. Is this a study that has been done in 2022?
A lot of it is well monitoring. Yeah.
But we did something extra this year and you're not doing it next year.
Quarterly monitoring.
Can we revisit that one? We'll get you an answer as to what that expense was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, 400 series.
We on solid waste,
Yes, we are. Page-
line 433. Average is 3,300 over 5 years, we're going to 4,000, is there anything in particular that's driving that? It's like 185% increase. And so far this year, we're looking at $1,179.20 of actuals.
Hydraulic oil and hydraulic filters.
Yes. Oil filters for the actual maintenance on the machines has gone up. So you got the compactor, the two compactors, the oil changes for those, just the routine maintenance on those have all gone up.
And one of those is a new compactor as well, so we may have some additional filters or something. We can find out, but I'm not sure.
Okay,
I have a question of 440.
so it's price plus
Yes,
oil filters.
yes.
Go ahead, John.
That's fine.
Question on 440. This, it appears that you're going to have a different shed in the brush disposal area.
I'm sorry?
What happened to the existing one?
We pay by the month. We
I
rent,
beg
it's a
pardon?
lease. It's a lease. It's not an own. That Connex box is a lease. We lease it,
What?
we rent it,
Okay, you rent it.
yes. We rent it every month.
So it's going up that much.
John, which line item are you looking at?
440?
It's level funded.
440. Well, it's peanuts, I guess, so we might as well go on. Just curious why, I was curious why it increased that much.
Well, it seems to be level funded budgeted, and the actuals are at 2,700.
Okay.
It just could be the timing of the bills because of the rentals.
Yep.
Okay, 500.
Just to back up on that for the rentals, something just caught up. We were a period of time this summer where we didn't have rentals because we didn't have the compactor and the site was under construction. So that could be why some of this is down.
Okay, thank you.
Makes sense.
Apples and oranges again.
He's gonna say 500 here.
600.
Line 610, please.
Operating fund, what's happening here?
General operating supplies, average of 7,100 per year. I want to go to 22K, and there's one item that I got a question on, and that's the new compacting barrels.
Those are the, they say compacting barrels. What they are is the barrels that are all around downtown, that the trash buckets are in. The enclosures,
Oh, okay.
that's what they are. And
So they don't come down, because we dealt with these a few years ago, it come down and crush the trash, and then go back up, then go back down and crush the
Nope.
trash.
that's not what this is.
That's not what those are, okay.
No, those are to replace the enclosures for the trash cans downtown. And
The wooden tops.
yes,
over
the
there.
wooden tops and the stuff around those. That's what those are for.
All right, then it's not an annual thing, right? So I guess my problem with this is $15,000 is skewing that majorly. Why don't we handle this as a capital outlay? In order not to get it, again, we're back to this, you know, we got a lump that comes in 1 year, and all of a sudden, it's not gonna be around for a couple of years until we do it again. It seems to me it's better handled as capital outlay when it occurs.
I believe, and again, as I'm picking some of this up as I go,
Right.
there is the plan to replace all of them over the next few years. That was what I inherited. So over the next few years to adjust the budget accordingly, because they are all gonna come, they bought a few, built a few, and over the next few years. So
How many
increase-
bells do we
So
have
what does this
downtown?
$15,000 represent?
15 barrels.
It's about 15 barrels.
And how many barrels altogether will there be? Are there? 30, 45?
Yes. Somewhere in that area. I don't have that note right in front of me.
So you see the 15,000
It's coming back.
next year and the year after that,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yes.
Bob raises a good point as far as,
I think it's a significant item to just, I won't say bury it in the budget. My personal wish, and that everybody else can say what they want, but items like this are, in my view, handled better as capital outlay, so they're out there. If it's a plan, fine, let's do it every year if we have to, but let's not skew the line items in 5-year averages with something that may occur 1 year, not occur the next, may occur the next year and not the next. It just skews things. And they just, in my view, significant items ought to be handled on capital outlay.
How long do they last? I mean, do you see it as an annual thing?
I see it as an annual thing
For
for quite some
ongoing.
time, yes. I mean, it,
And I would, my opinion is it doesn't raise to capital outlay, cause one unit is only $1,000. You know, I mean, a capital equipment, you know, the board has decided it's 10,000 is a capital outlay. So even though this is 15,000, it's really 15 pieces of 1,000. A 1,000 piece is a general operating supply, it's really not a capital outlay. And the previous one you mentioned, where there was 2 years that didn't have any, that was consulting, so that too doesn't really raise to the capital outlay. It's a consulting, that's more of a service versus a capital outlay.
As I
And those
said,
are just my opinions.
As I said, it's only my opinion.
Yep,
all right?
and mine.
And I'm guessing if you're, yeah, right, no, and I appreciate that, but if this is a constant replacement item, if that's what I'm hearing,
at least for the foreseeable future, yes.
well, when we say foreseeable future, we're gonna build, we've got
Yes.
these wooden things around, and they're gonna
Yeah.
rot, they're gonna get bad.
Yes.
So it sounds to me like we are constantly going to be rebuilding
Yes.
these, so it's an ongoing item, right?
Yes.
Do you figure the 15,000 is gonna be an expenditure that's gonna be annual to
Yes.
keep the rotation going?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I wanna know.
Okay, 700 series. $800 series.
Question on 820.
Okay.
I was wondering why we've spent so little money in the past, and all of a sudden we're going to have $1,600 for professional development. Are we actually going to spend that? Have you got programs
Yes.
scheduled next year?
Yes.
Beg your pardon?
Yes.
You do?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they plan on sending somebody to the Supervisory Academy and Computer Skills online courses as outlined on page 31, which is $1,200. As part of, I would assume, a succession plan also.
Mhm.
It's not that I'm against it, I was, when I had a unit, I made sure there was somebody at home ready to go. And we sent somebody, and they had to call back immediately, and we sent somebody more. But it's been
So, across the board, you know, for everybody, continuing education is important for all of, for everybody that works
yes,
in here. So there is a plan for that for next year.
okay, thank you.
And if there's no other questions on this one, this is the last department for Mr. Randall.
Do we have any capital outlay?
None.
Okay.
All right.
That's a drink.
I've just got one question while you're still here. You got a
You're gonna help
tractor over there with a bucket?
Yes, he is.
You know,
What do you have over there for a tractor with a bucket
Where?
at your department?
At the highway garage?
Yeah.
We have, three, let's see, down there's 3 loaders at the moment, a farm tractor, New Holland with a bucket, and the water department has a backhoe down there.
You work pretty good with Parks and Rec, and you loan them a tractor every once in a while?
Yeah, they were down today and got some,
Loan them? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
yep, I work
In
closely
fact-
with.
One of the lead people for highway just became the foreman for Parks and Rec maintenance.
we have,
So there's a good working relationship there.
we can get out of here quick.
Okay, can we go to capital outlay? Just for a moment. Jim, could you help me? I'll give you that number for that
You could.
new tractor in here.
There is no new tractor.
There's no new tractor in Parks and Rec?
No,
You sure?
positive, it was denied.
Oh, it's denied.
You did receive backup for all the requests.
I don't like that, because they get all excited. They can't do anything.
So the reason it was denied was exactly what you just said. Steve, over the next year, is gonna be working with Parks and Rec, and we're gonna try to determine if we can buy a tractor that meets both departments' needs, as opposed to buying a tractor for his department and a tractor for Parks and Recreation.
Right.
So that's why that was denied.
Sounds like a good idea.
Sorry, my oversight, I did put all requests in, even if they were denied for transparency.
If you'd like to add it back in, I'm sure
No,
Steve
so
would
the
be
street
thrilled.
sweeper's not in here anymore then?
More than happy to buy that. No problem. Never have enough.
Okay, does anyone have anything else?
I do.
Okay.
I'm just handing out some documents from the fire chief, because you're reviewing his revisit items at your next meeting. Okay?
It is,
But I guess you don't have to adjourn the meeting. I'm just handing out stuff. You don't need it?
No, I've got it.
Okay.
And to piggyback on what,
Yes, sir.
hold on. To piggyback on what Kathy is handing out, we just, this does not include, correct?
No.
The one he just sent?
No.
So I will be forwarding you additional information that Tom just sent like 2 hours ago at 4:45.
Thank you.
And it's 61 pages long.
Yeah, so
It is?
yes, so I'm going to email it, and I don't think Kathy, I wasn't gonna print it, yeah.
If you'd like a copy of that, please let Leanne know and you can have it.
Yeah, I can print out the memo's only a few pages, a lot of, the rest of it seems to be backup information to that memo. But just know that you're gonna have this and then additional email,
Right, it's not even put together right.
so just
Thank you.
wanted to add on that.
So I did hole punch it so you could throw it in the fire section. One is on fire and one's on capital outlay, but just so that you wouldn't lose it. And I guess I just have one scheduling change.
Okay.
So I will not be able to get the default budget and estimated revenues in front of the Board of Selectmen till the 21st. On the 20th, you planned on reviewing those and warrant articles. I was just hoping you could bump them from the 20th to the 27th, so the board can look at them before I deliver them to the budget committee.
Please.
Please, yes, oh, sorry.
So the 27th is the only day that we'll have to work with the warrant articles then?
No, you have the 20th for warrant articles.
And the 27th.
Right,
And
but
the-
you want to do it
Just
all
wanna
on?
add a default budget to the
Revenues and
27th.
budget doesn't take more than probably 10-15 minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna do everything else other than the default budget and the revenues. We're gonna
Yeah, I
do
just
those
would like
for
to push them out 1 week.
27th, okay.
You should have some, or if not, not all. You'll have most of the, we're hoping you'll have most of the warrant articles for the 20th.
Yeah, so if we do the bulk of the warrant articles on the 20th,
Yeah,
and the little time that it takes to review the other two,
Yep.
it shouldn't be an issue at all.
thank
How
you, I
many warrant
appreciate
articles
that.
looking at, Jim? Any idea?
18?
18 money ones
No.
or?
No, no, 26 without capital.
26? 26.
All money or just everything?
Money.
Only one's non. Hold on, I can get you the exact number right now. 25 minus the veterans, minus that, 24, 23.
Do you have a
23?
total of how many millions of dollars that is, roughly?
You gotta let the Board of Selectmen work on that.
Okay.
We do.
We
Hey,
did the
what-
first draft to the Board of Selectmen on
Tuesday.
on Tuesday, whatever date that was, 11/29, and we will be going back to the Selectmen next Wednesday on the 7th.
Hey, John, speaking of default budgets, just a comment on the agencies and how many people just did level funding. So just to kind of for everybody, rather than having to escalate, we could do a level funding. So, Just a thought, it's my opinion.
We have one agency coming back. We're revisiting one agency, right?
Well, we have one agency that's got a 51% increase we haven't even heard from yet.
I was
Starting
just,
point.
I was referring to the ones that, the lion's share that went level funding.
Right.
Okay,
They also do a lot of fundraising on their own to make up the difference.
I can just see, Jim out there doing some fundraising.
Just saying.
Remember that secession plan thing we were just talking about? Put it on speed dial.
Hey, Jeff,
Okay, does anyone have anything else?
You need to be really careful about how you pronounce
Okay,
that.
great.
You,
I kept hearing
we were
secession.
supposed to look at minutes. We were supposed to look at minutes last night from November
Sure.
15th, if you want to look at them tonight. I believe so. And then, we
I
have,
have no idea.
may have public input.
Minutes are
on the fifth.
Fifth, December fifth.
There were none
So I was
tomorrow.
wrong about that, so sorry about that.
That's
That's
all right.
okay.
We may have.
Yours went down.
You get December,
We
just
have-
confused.
I'm so
Mine was going
confused.
up.
But we may have
Oh,
public
no, it
input.
went down.
Suzanne, do you have anything you'd like to offer?
I got it.
Okay.
public input from our favorite person?
Do you have your Corvette tonight?
I don't know about.
You wanna sit next to the mic and take
My
that off?
homework's done.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
John and John.
Her homework's done, we'll do it in the morning.
First shot out of the box, not bad.
Leanne, this is gonna look so
You took it easy on him though, right?
Oh,
What?
yes. How many times over the last 10 years have you given this to me?
I want Max to hear
Alone.
about that compact and barrel construction thing, because
Should
they
just save it on my desktop.
you happy.
It was a surprise at how much it cost.
are. Oh, sure.
I'll give you this, you've got this copy, I need to use this, I'll give it to you after.
It's okay.
You're familiar with this.
It's-
Where should I, over here?
Right between the two.
Rose between two thorns.
Here we go again. Okay, I was on the CIP this year, and, I'm not representing them, I'm just representing myself. But, we had a little contentious issue with, this is to do with the Libby. And we had a contentious issue amongst our membership, as to the responsibility of the town to this building. And I would like you all to take this home and look at it. It's crystal clear that in 1956, the probate court appointed the town to serve as the trustees of the Libby Trust. And in 1956, Wolfeboro Town Meeting voted to have the selectmen accept the Libby Museum. So, for better or worse, it's our property, it's listed in our assessor's office. We are responsible for the maintenance and care and keeping the doors open. And so I just wanted you to have this information so that that whole topic is short-circuited and you guys don't go through what we went through on this topic. Copy is for you, for your,
When you say we, you mean the CIP?
I didn't,
Okay.
The CIP, yeah,
Yeah.
she means that during the
CIP.
CIP process,
yeah,
there was some contention on this.
oh, yeah,
It's not.
there was.
That's
Is
the
it, is
question.
it still on the CIP list,
Is it
Suzanne?
on the CIP list? Is what on the
Yeah.
CIP?
It's still on there?
Yeah.
But what year, do you know?
This coming
This
year.
coming year?
So this is from the Attorney General's office, so it's a pretty strong letter, and it doesn't get much higher up in rank in the state for overview of historical properties and so forth, so it's a pretty strong letter, and I just give it to you to take home, think about it, read it,
John,
do as you wish.
Thank you, Suzanne.
You will be getting a
One
warrant
thing
article,
that
I'm
needs to
pretty
be brought
sure.
to everybody's attention on page 2, the third paragraph, which starts off, we have learned that the town used the Liberty Museum's lakefront property as a public dock and boat ramp, operating them as an income-producing enterprise. That is a bunch of crap.
No, I thought you guys charged for commercial
No,
boats.
only commercial.
We
Oh,
did
that's-
not charge
that's-
until this year.
Okay,
Prior to that, we
He
had
says
an
this is
ordinance
crap.
said $25, but we had never collected it. So we did not, what they were saying is that we took the money and used it for other purposes. We didn't have any money to use for another purpose. Now we are, and, what is it fund it's in? It's a revolving fund that we set it aside so it would be used for the repair of the dock.
Yep.
Correct. I can't remember the mechanism, but we put it into a standalone revenue account, and that, the theory going forward is the expenses, or any expenses associated with the ramp or dock will be able to pay for those repairs, hopefully through the revenue that's generated. You know, we rebuilt the ramp down there, about 3 years ago for about $30,000. That was taxpayer money. And we did the seawall, which again was about another $38,000, I think. That was on the taxpayers' money. We've done some dock repairs, and we're gonna have to do some dock repairs in the next couple of years, because it is in, getting to that point where it needs the maintenance.
It's $3,000 for a docking permit.
for commercial.
Does somebody sit down there and collect that?
Nobody can do it.
They fill out a permit, they go to the board, come to the Board of Selectmen's meeting. It's basically at this point an honor system. And everybody's been good. The users have been good.
So
what do
this
we have,
is
like 10
not
people?
just commercial now, this is anybody.
No, it's just commercial.
Just commercial.
It's just the commercial part of our ordinance on that dock,
Loaded barge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Luke.
Was that dock
Could I have that one?
shared ownership with somebody at one time?
Not that I know of. I haven't seen anything that says NP or any kind of document. I haven't seen it. Oh,
Yeah, John, I got some.
Okay, so Jim, did you guys meet with this guy, Tom Donovan?
So Ruby,
So we did have a meeting with Tom Donovan, at some point at the Libby Museum.
yes.
The Board of Selectmen had some meetings with, the other representatives from the,
Attorney General?
Attorney General's Office, Charitable Trust. Been working collaboratively with the, Friends of the Libby Museum, and, specific items to where we're at can probably be addressed to Linda. But you will be seeing a warrant article coming to you. We're working on the crafting of that now.
Go ahead, Bob.
So I believe recently, much more recently than March 28, 2022, I believe a copy of the memorandum of understanding between the selectmen and the Friends of Libby was sent to us, and I remember reading that. And it looked to me like as a part of that agreement, the selectmen agreed to put a warrant article on the ballot this year, 2023. Am I right? I read
Under
that.
the condition that they raise 70%
Okay.
of the cost. And there is, if you see in the first paragraph, there is a line that said that either one of us could get out of that, because we can't commit the taxpayers.
Right, well,
So that was what we were hoping for. There's been huge escalation in the price. And
Well,
so I can tell you they've raised 2.2 million.
what I'm trying to say is, I don't see that memorandum of agreement in any way, shape, or form obligating this committee to either recommend it or vote for it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You will have that as backup information for the
Thank you,
warrant
thank you.
article.
I didn't bring this in for discussion on the whole situation. I just wanted it to be clear that the building, the grounds and building, not the docks, is a town responsibility. for the taxpayers, and it's our obligation to maintain.
As you-
The discussion all around that is for another time.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have anything else to talk about? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Wait a second.
Jolly.
All those in favor say aye.
I got a half an hour to get home.